2020 Ford F-150 Raptor. Not that that really makes a difference for this. 41,000 miles. Customer states when it rains, vehicle leaks all over vehicle. Okay, now I've already found this problem, and it's not typical. I have seen it a few times over the years, but not a lot. But when I get a complaint like this, you know, you're asking leaks all over the vehicle. Okay, well, what does that even mean? To leak on all four corners, you usually either have to have a windshield, a really bad sunroof leak, but that's usually not typical, or more, what's most typical is a leak from the rear, and you're talking rear glass, third brake light, cabin vents. And even if it's leaking on one side or the other, since the rear is elevated a little bit, it can still get both sides wet. But usually one side will be wetter than the other, and that's the case here. So this is a typical Raptor. It's decked out with all the goodies, including the Vista roof. All right, so we all know that those are famous for, you know, all sorts of issues, as are all sunroofs. All sunroofs leak at some point. No brand is immune to this. If you live under trees, and this person lives under some serious trees, I have noticed. So I thought maybe the drains are going to be clogged up. So I test 3 of the drains, 2 fronts and the right rear, all flowing great. I almost said, yeah, you know what, that left rear is probably flowing fine too. But no, let's just go around here and test it. So I tested it. Well, as you can see, water came out of the front. Nothing came out the rear. But guess what? The water disappeared. It did not, because I thought, okay, well, the water didn't come out. Did I put enough water to it? I put some more water to it. Well, I put so much water to it that if it was not flowing, then it should have spilled over and been leaking in the headliner. I pulled the headliner down. It's not leaking into the headliner. And I ran my hand up there into the trough of the track, and it didn't have any water in it. No water standing. I was like, well, what the heck? And I tested it again, and I watched it, and I said, you know, that water's flowing, but it's not flowing out of the truck. Okay, well, then I know probably what's wrong with it. The drain tube is probably not connected at the exit hole. So let's check it out. Okay, so I've got the C-pillar off. You can see there is the exit hole where the drain tube is supposed to be, and that tube with the orange piece of part number tape around it is the drain tube. So clearly that's not in the hole. And as we can see, there's the end of it right there. And look at all that dirt. And look at all these cobwebs and mess. The reason those are all cropped up around here is because it's been moist here. This is a water source, attracts bugs, which attracts spiders. This drain tube probably has never been hooked up ever since this truck was built. I don't know if this is the original owner or not. I don't know what took so long for them to see that it's leaking, but you notice that this is, you can see this is elevated over the scuff plate right here. This is quite elevated. You can see it go up, and so it can also leak to that side of the truck and get that, particularly if you park tilted that way. So it can get both sides wet, but it's primarily going to get this side wet. And I don't know if you can see down in there, but that is water standing. There it is. See that? Water standing in this channel, and it just runs back to front. So a lot of times you'll think, hey, I got a leak in my front, because that's the first place you see it. I would say at least half the time it's coming from the rear. So this is going to be a fairly simple fix. I'm just going to reach my hand in there and plug that back in where it goes. Clearly it drains. I mean, it flows, because I water tested and it flows, but it's flowing right back into the car. So if you have tested everything, and you know your cabin vents, your back window, your third brake light, your sunroof drains and everything, you can't find anything, pay attention to make sure when you test that sunroof drain that when the water disappears, it actually does come out on the ground, because as you can see, it is not wet under this truck right here. Let me get to the other side. And even though it's been about 6 or 7 minutes since I water tested it, it's still wet right there. And it's wet right there, and it's wet on the left front as well. That was the only spot water didn't come out, and that was my tell. For the heck of it, let's test this thing. I've got it plugged back up now. All right, I'm gonna hit it with some water. Look at that. There you go. It's all fixed. So there you go. This could really apply to any vehicle, anything with a sunroof and sunroof drains. But anyway, if you've got any questions and comments, let me know. But that's what's going to fix this one. Just reattach the drain tube, or not reattach, attach the drain tube where it's supposed to exit out for the first time ever since 2020. And here it is, September of 2024. And this thing's never been plugged up. So anyway, questions, comments, thanks for watching.